What is going on, guys? It's Ben here bringing you another Vainglory video. In today's video we have some news about the update once again, and pretty much we all know, or we're all going to know, Lyra's abilities now, and I'm going to read over them and everything like that. And also we have some interesting news about some items, and I'll show you them here. So basically a bunch of new contracts, and they're more focused around roamers and stuff, and different like boots buying paths and stuff like that. So go over all that in this video here, give you my thoughts, and as always I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys are like excited about, if anything you don't like, if there's things you do like. But a lot of people were excited for Lyra, and we finally know all of her abilities. Yesterday they released a clip, if you guys saw that video of her ultimate, which is like the what's it called here, the arcane passage, which is basically teleportation, but we'll get to that a little later. What I want to talk about though is basically everything about her. I'll give you my thoughts, what I think she's gonna be good for and everything. So basically her heroic perk is kind of interesting because it has to deal with her basic attacks. And I'm just gonna read it to you because I don't have a really better way of explaining to you, but Lyra's attacks are arcane missiles dealing crystal damage. If she holds her ground after releasing an attack, by that I mean like charging up, she automatically channels and releases a much stronger arcane missile that deals additional crystal damage and briefly slows its target. Each channeled missile consumes energy, but Lyra can continue using these even if she runs out of energy. So even if she doesn't have energy, she still can probably project these missiles like it just stated. But her heroic perk, it shoots like little missiles, which is pretty interesting. But once the first missile has locked on, the second is guaranteed to land, as well as provided Lyra finishes channel, or is granted to land as well as provided as Lyra finishes channeling. For basic attack or on hit effects, such as weapon items, both the first and the second arcane missiles are considered basic attacks. So that'll proc like aftershock and stuff like that, and like detention bow and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. Attack speed affects the channeling time in addition to the time between shots. While the second missile is much stronger, it also puts Lyra's next attack onto a slightly longer cooldown. The projectile speed of the first missile increases with attack speed. So they deal crystal damage. Obviously she is a mage, or her main path they say is a roamer, but she also can be played as a mage. And I think like with that, like if you're going a mage build, like alternating current will probably work really well with that. Doing a lot of auto attacks and whatnot, and then it seems like they would be slowed down when she's channeling and whatnot, but I don't know, it'd be interesting to see how that goes. What do you guys think of that heroic perk? It's very interesting because usually like other heroes' heroic perks are, I don't know, like not so much, like I think this is the first hero where it's revolved around their basic attacks, maybe. Well, Lance can like spear through other people, but I just think that's normal. But so that's Lyra's heroic perk. Her first ability is Imperial Sigil, or I don't even know how to properly say this. Seagull, whatever, I don't really care. Lyra forms a seagull at the target location, revealing surrounding enemies. So at first it sounds like a Celeste orb, where it like reveals enemies, but while this seagull remains active, it heals nearby allied heroes and damages nearby enemy heroes. Lyra can reactivate this ability at any time to detonate the seagull, dealing heavy damage to surrounding enemies while providing a burst of healing and moderate movement speed to nearby allies. So say you know like the enemy team is shopping at the shop and you're there, Lyra puts that orb on their brush over there where they're all three at. It's gonna damage them. You're gonna be able to see them, and if she wants, she can burst it for like they said, heavy crystal damage, and then your team around gets a burst of heal and then movement speed as well. So it's like I'm pretty sure it's like a double tap of like effect or ability. So you tap it once to place it, and then you can detonate it whenever, like say if some like hero walks over it, and then it'll heal your team, give them movement speed, damage the other enemy team. So that's a pretty useful ability. They say to overdrive that one first, so we'll go with that. And this one is Bright Bulwark. That's an interesting name. But after a brief delay, Lyra releases a pulse of magical energy, damaging and applying a decaying slow to surrounding enemies. What that means is like a slow is like that's like heavier at the start, so it's a slower slow, and then it gets like faster over time, for those of you that did not know. The affected area then becomes a walled zone of protection that deals the same damage and slow to enemies attempting to cross it, across its borders. Enemies inside the zone are snared, allowing them to move normally, but preventing them from using movement abilities. So I don't know if there's any other snares in the game besides this one. It just means like the snare is like, say like a Jules in there, she won't be able to jump out of it. She can she can walk out of it, but she just can't jump out of it. Other ones I think would be, I don't know about Lance's combat roll. I think that wouldn't work. Just abilities that allow you to jump out. They kind of explain that in there, but it releases like a wall. And when it says like a wall, I don't know. It's probably not gonna be super big, but it reminds me of like the gauntlet wall. But you don't get stunned, you just get slowed, and it deals a little bit of damage. So, and it stops dash abilities, so like Vox's abilities. But it does not stop movement increases like Catherine's Merciless Pursuit. So like you can boots out of it if you want, but it would still be slower and everything like that. And then you can, it says right here, you can reflex block while snared to buy enough time to dash, and then Lance can use his Graythan Wall on overdrive to do this as well, to like get the snare gone. So that's an interesting ability. It might it's like a way to kind of either like position, like not position, but group, like make an enemy from, like say you want them to go like to the left, and you can just block off their way to the left or whatever, unless they're gonna get slowed. It can stop them from chasing. It can protect you guys if you're trying to escape. So that could be a very useful ability. Just put up that wall, run away or whatever. Don't know how big it's gonna be, but I assume it's gonna be fairly large. It's not gonna be super small. Definitely not gonna be as big as Arden Gauntlet Wall, but you never know. This one is probably the coolest ability in the game so far, I think. So it's called Arcane Passage. Lyra blinks to the target location, leaving portals at both the beginning and the end of the blink portals. Portals last for a few seconds, allowing allied and enemy heroes to move freely between them in both directions. Heroes must wait several seconds before they can re-enter a portal. So you guys yesterday I said, do you think the enemy heroes and your enemy teams will be able to pass through them? Anyone can pass through them. This cooldown is also applied to enemies when Lyra hits them with initial pulse of Bright Bulwark. So basically, I said basically a lot this video, sorry. But yeah, so your heroes can pass through it. There is a cooldown from when you can re-enter a portal, but any team can go through it. That's pretty crazy, just hopping around the map. And I don't know how long this cooldown is, if you can like set up multiple portals before the other one runs out, but pretty sweet. Portals are like, here, I'll just read the breakdown. Portals are globally visible for both teams. Heroes gain a small boost of speed while exiting portals. Heroes currently dashing or being affected by pulls or knockbacks will not enter the portal. Heroes, oh, that kind of sucks, because like that'd be so sweet if you use Lance's B ability and knocked him into Lyra's portal, and then they're like away from the fight or something, to like what's it called, to like isolate them from a fight, like Lyra portals. You knock him in there with Lance's ability, and then that's like a 3v2 because you got him out of there. That'd be sweet. But it says they can't be doing that unless they like walk through it on their own. And then it's kind of for protection for like Adagio. So like, say Adagio's channeling his ult and Lyra places a portal on him, he won't go through it because he's just standing still. He would have to move and then he would go through it. So it's good, but I mean, you still could like in really congested team fights, you kind of could like put it in the middle and then just kind of like mess everyone up, because some people probably wouldn't see the portal, and then like some people would probably like accidentally walk through it or whatever, but it probably could hurt your team too as well. So I don't know, and it's good for either running away, chasing, I guess, and we'll have to see how that goes, but I'm really excited. What do you guys think of those abilities? She seems pretty sweet. They said she can also be like a crystal mage or a roamer. They said she's very squishy though. Like Ataka would pretty much destroy her, or anything with a high amount of burst. Even if you get health items, she's still really, really squishy. So I feel like if people are playing Lyra, Taka is gonna be a good counter to her. It doesn't seem like, I mean, her support like abilities are fine, but it doesn't seem like she's super good at keeping your team alive, except for that A ability, which is fine. But it's more of just like repositioning, and she kind of has CC with that, or crowd control with that B ability with the wall and stuff. We'll have to see how she plays out. What do you guys think would be best for her? It basically depends on, it seems like she's a damage dealing, like she'll deal a lot of damage as a roamer, and then her abilities just kind of help your team. and stuff like that. So we shall see how she plays out, how much like energy, or not energy, but like health she gets from that ability when like she blows it up. Will it be similar to like Petal's ultimate, where when you blow it up and stuff like that? So that's Lyra. Let me know what your thoughts are on her. Next up, we're moving to the items. So there's a lot of changes though. So there's a new thing into the game where it's a thing called ambient gold. Basically, you guys as roamers, anyone does not need to buy an iron guard. It's like passively in every hero now. Like it's a part of the game. It's a thing called ambient gold where it still has the effect of like an iron guard, where a nearby ally hero will still get gold if they're near you 14 meters away. What I understand is, like, say you're at the back camps by the you're like a jungler by the back camps, and your roamers up by the regen dragging it down, and just that amount of range right there is like about 14 meters. So if you're within that range, you will get 75% of the gold if you do not get the last hit, and then you will also get some XP. They changed the XP. It's 14 meters for XP and 14 meters for gold. So it's gonna be a lot difficult to like hyper level right at the start. Like, so the roamer going up won't automatically give levels unless they're completely out of the way, and then they also will not get gold then either. So it's gonna be interesting what happens with the meta there. But now that's good too, because even if like the roamer does steal a last hit on accident, the carry will still get 75% of that gold. So that's pretty sweet. Then if it comes down to it, when there's a bunch of people around, the person with the lowest gold on the team will get the bonus gold, if that makes sense. And if there's 3 people, like, the XP will be split, and everything like that. So and then also the gold trickle is up from 4 to 5. What gold trickle is just every second you get some gold and stuff like that. So that destroys the iron guard pretty much, but it leaves like a open path for like roamers, or well, just roamers in general, to buy. And it helps for battle royale too, because then just the lowest person will get gold and stuff like that. But it'll open up a buying slot for the roamers right off the bat to buy some of these new items here, and that's what we're going to get into. So the Iron Guard contract is good. It's similar in the fact that it gives like a passive for when a nearby ally kills a jungle monster and then you heal 75 health. You don't even really need to hit it. It's just whenever they kill it, and then you get 75 health, or you both get 75 health. So that's good for topping off, or if you need a lot of regen, you're going to be killing a lot of minions. So Iron Guard contract is still a very, very, very good purchase for taking those minions, getting the health, especially for the early game, because how are you going to kill the minions without getting the regen if you're the roamer just taking all that damage? So Iron Guard contract is probably going to be one of the items to buy early still, because you're going to want to be at full health when you fight, unless you know you're going to be playing passive. Protector contract, activate, or if it's an activate on one, you grant a 120 health barrier to the nearest ally hero for 2 seconds on a 5-second cooldown. 2 max charges and 20 seconds per charge. 5-second cooldown, 2 max charges. Okay, so it has 2 charges. Activate it once, 5 seconds later you can activate it again, and it gives a barrier. So if you're gonna be fighting, I'll give you that extra shield to your allied jungler, whoever. I wish you could kind of select, but I guess like whoever's the nearest to you, so you just gotta position yourself to get to it. So that's like good for defense and everything like that. So, or people are like heavy aggression on you and stuff like that. The next one is the Dragon Blood contract. It's another activate one. After a brief delay, nearby enemy heroes are marked for 3 seconds. The next basic attack from an ally consumes the mark, slowing by 30% for 2 seconds and dealing 75 bonus crystal damage. There's a 15-second cooldown and 2 max charges, and then it takes 40 seconds to replenish the charges. So that's good for early aggression. You want if you're gonna your laner or something's gonna rotate down and help you out, you can activate it and then fight down in the jungle with this one. Or even you could do this, honestly, because you get enough gold to have 300 sometimes, so you could start off with the Iron Guard contract and not even really buy potions, maybe buy 1 flare as a roamer, and then when you get to the shop, pick up either a Protector contract or a Dragon Blood contract as your second item, and then see how you go from there. That's just what my thoughts are right off the bat. Like, because you get to the shop, you usually have like 250 to 300 gold right at that first rotations. So that's what I think. It's gonna be definitely fun experimenting with that, not always having to just buy the Iron Guard right away. and then go straight to Fountain and stuff like that. So, well, you still might still want to go straight to Fountain, but who knows. Next up is the Stormguard banner. Honestly, I can see people still buying it, but not as much as they used to. So basically all this does is it no longer I'm just gonna read what it says. Has been reworked for a strong pickup for heroes who have weak wave jungle clear abilities and for teams who intend to prioritize objective control over constantly battling the enemy. However, this does not come with the caveat that you will be given a significant amount of combat power. So basically the Stormguard, I said caveat, really weird, but basically the Stormguard banner, I don't even think it doesn't even go into Warhorn anymore. It literally just is there to help you take objectives. Like the passive, after using the ability for your next 3 basic attacks, basically you can take down minions or objectives more, and it doesn't really give you that much damage to like heroes and stuff. So Stormguard banner, I don't know if we'll be seeing that as much as we used to, because pretty much every time you'd see it at least some point in the match, and now I don't know, because it's more for just either taking those objectives faster or taking minions. So we will see. Storm Crown is the one after. This is the one after the Stormguard banner now, and I think the Stormguard banner, the precursor to that is the Energy Battery right there, and then the Stormguard banner itself, and then the Storm Crown. So it's a little interesting, I will say, but it's gonna take a while. But the Storm Crown is a tier 3 item. It has the Stormguard banner effects, and then it does a little bit more damage to heroes, so that's more if you want to deal a little bit more damage to heroes for your autos, and taking down objectives as well. So those are the 2 right there. May see those, may not. Journey boots are still a thing. They have a little bit more run speed, but I think honestly, so journey boots are pretty much the same. You just get the cooldown is reduced for the sprinting and stuff like that. But War Treads is like the new type of boots. It's basically, it has movement speed, but it's just not as fast. But you can activate it, and it has a Warhorn effect. So your whole team moves for 2 seconds. It still gives you health and everything like that. But with the War Treads, I feel as though like maybe, because you need travel boots and then Dragonheart to get to them, so it's like kind of still building to a Warhorn. But I think maybe more like teams might actually pick up like either like 2 pairs of War Treads, or have 2 like War Treads on the same team, because I don't know if the cooldown will be like you can only use like 1 War Treads for every 60 seconds. If you could, then yes, only 1 person would buy War Treads on the team. But who knows? And then Halcyon Chargers, they activate sprint for a longer period or not a longer period of time. Well, I don't know. Halcyon Chargers as a cooldown is just reduced for like sprinting. So if you're going to be sprinting more, chasing more, Halcyon Chargers are for you. And then there's also the regular journey boots and stuff like that. And then we have the Flare Gun, offering an early game vision option. Pick up the Flare Gun if you plan to constantly track your enemies. Activate a flare target location. Cooldown is 18 seconds. Does you only get 1 flare with that? That would kind of suck, but who knows? And then that leads into the Contraption. No longer building out of Stormguard, but Contraption now charges a bit faster and offers a bit more defensive power. And other, Kraken is no longer affected by any buffs, like Warhorn does not affect it, or the Warhorn speed boost. Players may no longer walk into the area where the jungle shop is and stuff like that. So that is all the items, and other little changes. The tap area of the jungle shop has finally been like fixed a little bit, so it's like smaller. And flares are no longer visibly global into the brush, like when you use it, if you're just checking and stuff like that, which is cool because then the enemy doesn't really know your kind of remote location. But there we have it, guys. I'm excited to see how these contracts are gonna start like in the early game. Like, I feel as though most people are gonna start with, this is my thoughts, like people are gonna start with Iron Guard, and then roamers might either pick up one of these 2 for fighting if they're gonna fight. If not, they'll probably work just towards Warhorn or something like that. But either way, let me know what you guys think of the Lyra. Let me guys know what you guys think of the items. I think it's pretty cool. Digging this update already, pretty huge, and we didn't even get to the balance changes yet for the heroes. So either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe for more Vainglory videos, and I really hope you have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you guys later.